Hello, all of you. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the VAIR Community's YouTube channel. Yes, good evening, all of you. Good evening. All right. So, what we are going to discuss today is something which is very important and something that a lot of people find difficulty with. That is, they don't understand when they're preparing for the CAT verbal ability section, what are the mistakes that they are making. So, in this live session, I'm going to discuss about 5 mistakes that you make and how to overcome these mistakes so that you can score the maximum marks in your CAT verbal ability section. Now, Lord, this is specifically very important for those who are afraid of maths because if you're not scoring enough in the quants and DILR section, this is a very good section where you can score a good amount of marks. And secondly, for those who are afraid of English, this is where you need to focus because these are the mistakes that you should ideally avoid. And I'm also going to share how to avoid these mistakes. So stay tuned and stay with me. In the meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can let me know in the chat. Good evening, Vishal. Good evening, Bhavya. So good to see all of you here. All right, so let's begin. Number one mistake that students make is not knowing the paper pattern. So you don't understand the mode of examination, whether it's computer based, whether it is pen and paper. You don't do enough research on the paper pattern. So the CAT paper pattern goes like it has 4 sections. So one is the quants, the second is DILR, third is the reading comprehension and verbal ability section. So there are 3 sections in all, and this is the area which you need to know thoroughly at the back of your hand so that you know exactly which section are you targeting and where are you aiming to score the most. So when you research the paper pattern well, your paper will go well because you have a strategy in your mind to approach these sections. Then, after you do that, you have to find out your areas of strength and your areas of improvement. So, you must have seen the SWOT analysis of various products, of various services, of various companies. But have you done a SWOT analysis for yourself? So, sit down and do a SWOT analysis, that is, analyze your strengths and weaknesses of the verbal ability reading comprehension section for the CAT or other OMET papers that you are going to appear for. If there are other papers that you're targeting, like the NMAT, the SNAP, it's a good time for you to start researching on the paper pattern because each paper pattern, each exam is different from the other. So, for example, the CAT is of 2 hours, the ZAT is of almost 3 hours. It has a section which is exclusive to the ZAT, which is called the decision making section. So, these are the paper patterns that you continuously need to research about so that you can plan your strategy in that manner. So, avoid this mistake of not knowing the paper pattern, do the research, and know your areas of strength, which is the part that you will be attempting first, which is the part that you will be attempting the last. What are the kind of topics that you're going to spend more time on? What are the topics that you're going to spend less time on? So that you don't have to make these petty decisions while you are giving your exam. Now, poor time management. There is a very simple formula that when the amount of time taken increases, the accuracy actually dips, and that leads to a lower score. So what you need to do is you need to decrease the time taken. You need to increase your level of accuracy, and that will help your score in going up. So don't rush through the preparation process. A lot of people think कि अभी तो कैट गया है नवंबर में अभी मैं क्यों तैयारी शुरू करूं. Actually, this is the right time for you to start preparing for your CAT examinations. NMAT is just around the corner. The first window opens in October. Then we have CAT in November. Then we have SNAP, which generally comes in December. We have that in January. We have the CUET in February. We have the CMAT in around March, April, or sometimes even May. It gets a little delayed. So these are the 4 5 papers which a lot of students target, and the good time to start preparing would be now. Otherwise, you will be in a rush to prepare and cover so many topics, so many subjects, and that might leave you in a very confused state. Rushing through the questions. So, when you know, as I discussed before, your areas of strength, it becomes easy for you to understand the questions that you are going through. So when you go through these questions, you know which are your strengths, which are your weaknesses, which you want to attempt first, which you want to attempt later. So manage your time very strategically and rushing through the passages. If you're attempting 2 passages out of 5 or 6 passages, then also do it with a lot of patience. Give that amount of time. Focus completely. So what happens when it comes to the comprehension part is that there are 5 to 6 passages that need to be read and the respective questions have to be answered. Now, common mistake that the students do, they think that they are practicing 2 RCs every day. So that's enough because they're practicing 20 RCs in 10 days. But the way of practice should be that you should practice at least 6 to 8 passages in one go so that your level of accuracy does not dip, the time taken goes down, and your score goes up. So, that is the master tip that I would like to share with you. Start solving 6 to 8 passages in one go to excel in the reading comprehension section, and so that you don't have to rush through these passages. So, your poor time management will be taken care of. Do I have any questions with respect to this? All right. Glad to see that all of you have understood this. Now, one very common mistake is not using the POE or the process of elimination. So, what is this POE? So, generally, because of the way we have been programmed back in school, we have a habit of finding the right answer. So, finding the right answer is actually the wrong approach. What you also need to remember that the cat or the other omits, they have 3 or 4 more options, which are the bad answers or the wrong answers. So when you start eliminating the bad or the wrong answers, you automatically arrive at the correct answer. So if you can't find the correct answer, the best approach would be to start eliminating the incorrect answers. So you need to eliminate the incorrect ones and choose the correct one. Now, what is the master tip that I would like to share here? The master tip here would be very simple. It would be to actually use certain basis of elimination. Now, one of the options might be too narrow, the other option might be too wide, or it might be completely out of scope, or there would be no such comparison. So when it is too narrow, for example, the passage is talking about wars in general, but the option talks about, say, just the Battle of Plassey. So you can eliminate it on the basis of too narrow. Say the passage talks about the First World War, but the option talks about all the wars together. So that is too wide. Now the passage talks about wars, but the option talks about the effects of war. So that is again out of scope because we're just talking, the passage is just talking about what a war is and what could be the causes of the war. And no such comparison is very simple. So when the passage is talking about apples, but the option is talking about oranges. So we always compare apples to apples and never apples to oranges. If you use these bases to eliminate the wrong answers, I am sure you will arrive at the correct answer very soon. Did you find this tip helpful? Comment yes if you did. All right. Hello, Bharat. Good to see you here. Please share the challenges that you are facing with respect to your verbal ability reading comprehension section for your preparation for CAT. All right. Not staying updated. Now, see, GK is also very important for a few MBA entrance examinations, and that would also help you in preparing or answering the reading comprehension passages very well. So, when you are doing reading comprehension, one thing that happens with all of you, and you would agree with me on the same, that is, you get zoned out. Read karte karte itna bore ho jate ho कि you get zoned out. When this happens, then you need to start practicing reading from different genres. अगर हिस्ट्री बहुत पसंद है तो हिस्ट्री के बारे में मत पढ़ो और start reading about technology. अगर टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत पसंद है और हिस्ट्री बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है, try to read more articles on history because you don't know कि तुम्हारे क्वेश्चन पेपर में कहाँ से क्वेश्चन आएगा या किस सब्जेक्ट या किस डोमेन से पैसेज आएगा. So there is no chance of getting bored when you are used to reading more and different subjects at the same time. This makes the RC easier not only to read but also to comprehend. So don't focus only on reading but also focus on comprehending or understanding the RCs. Not reviewing your results. So whenever you are appearing for mocks, you think that mocks के लिए appear करना ही enough है. But no, the master tip is that you should know how to analyze your results. So for example, your answer was option A. It is incorrect and the correct answer was option B. You just scan through the correct answers and you see that option B सही answer है and you move on to the next question. But a very good way of analyzing would be to divide it into two parts. Divide your result into section wise. That is, are you making more errors in grammar, in RC, or in vocab? Or you can review it question type wise. That is, are you making more errors in the fill in the blanks? Are you making more errors in parajumbles or the verbal reasoning section? Are you making more errors in choose the correct answer? Are you making mistakes with respect to vocab based questions? Are you making an error with respect to match the following? So what is the question type जहां पे आप अटक रहे हो? So divided into two basic types, that is section wise and question type wise, and then analyze your results so that you know which portion do you need to exactly focus on. Let me know your doubts or any challenges that you are facing so far. All right. So these are a few master tips and a few mistakes that I would want all of you to avoid for your CAT preparation or your OMETS preparation. Let me know in the chat box if you have any other doubts, and I will get back to you regarding the same as soon as possible. All right. Do you have any doubts? Okay. So I'm so glad that you've understood these topics very well. Looking forward to seeing you all of you next week. Till then, take care and all the best.